Well, hello to all again. It's Friday and I'm going to look at something somewhat controversial today, which is carving chanters. Now, we obviously tape chanters in order to flatten notes, but sometimes you have a persistent note that will not come up to pitch with any reed. So once you want to try a few reeds before you start doing this, obviously, but if you find that you can't get that reed in tune, you're going to have to undercut it. The only other thing you can do is to put tape on every other note in order to bring it down to that pitch, and that can be problematic in itself, because not only are you putting a lot of tape on, but it's taking it down from its natural pitch. So if you want to play with somebody else, you may be 3 or 4 cents below where they're playing. So not ideal at all. Now, the chanter itself, you want to think of it as like you know how you tune drone reeds. Not drone reeds, drones. Now you pull them up to make them lower pitched, pull them down to make them higher pitched. So you're doing the same sort of thing with this. If you kind of think of the chanter as a series of tubes, so we got one section here goes down to the high A, and then we close that one off. We got another one comes to the high G, F, etc. So it's getting longer and longer and longer. So they're getting lower and lower pitched. And when you put tape on, it's making that tube slightly longer to that note, therefore it makes it slightly flatter. So if you're doing that and you can't get it up to pitch, we have no choice. So I haven't actually met a chanter that I haven't undercut yet at times, so it's a common. So here's a basic diagram. There's no sort of set distances or gaps on this. It's just an example. So this will be the top of the chanter. This is kind of a cross section between the front of the chanter, and these would be the holes, and the pitch is dictated by the distance from that hole to the top of the chanter. Okay, and it's getting longer and longer. Now if you can make that slightly smaller, the distance, you can bring the pitch up. Now this is a much bigger picture of what I'm talking about here, and if you're going to undercut a chanter, you're going to do it at the back of the hole up here, and you're going to take material out from there, and it's actually going to make the chanter tube going to that note slightly shorter. It's going to bring the pitch up. Right, so how do we do this with a Dremel? Now this is my weapon of choice. It's a very handy one. You can actually hold it like a pencil, and you can get a lot of control over it. So after I've shown you which part to cut, now let's have a look at how to actually do it. And I always hold it like this and just do a little bit from the back at about 45 degrees, maybe a little less than that. So I'll just demonstrate that now. Turn it on, hope you can see that. So I've taken a tiny little bit of material out of the back of that hole, which will gradually bring it up. You just have to retest it and see what's going on. Now you're not going to ruin a chanter by doing this. You're going to actually make it more usable. And if you do go a little bit too far with the undercutting, make it too sharp. That's what tape's for. The thing is, on a day of a competition, if you're in a band or solo or whatever, you don't want to be taking reeds out and moving tape all the time in order to get a chanter in tune with everybody else. You want to be able to move a bit of tape. If that means you have to undercut the hole a wee bit and maybe put tape on again later on, so be it. That doesn't matter. So it's in our quest to find the absolute best sound we can and get our pipes in tune. That's it for this week, and I hope to see you next. Thank you.